What's up, Midnighters? We're talking season 2, episode 2. The monster of the week is Patriarchy. Love this title. We have a haunted hotel, vampires on the loose, some drama in the love department, and a very special guest. You don't want to miss this, so stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Cherry, serenade us again. We have Jeffrey Reddick in the building, and this was his song of choice, so we had to give it to him.
I am a hillbilly in Hollywood, so this is my song.
You guys, welcome to the after show. We are talking Midnight Texas, episode 2. Before we get into it, I'm Steph Sabra. We have Jeffrey Reddick.
Hi.
Haley J.
What's up, everybody?
And Cherry Davis.
Hi.
Our Captain Yell will be back next week, so don't you guys worry. But this week we'll be breaking down kind of where the Midnighters individually are at, the vampire situation with Lem, the Crystal Desert Haunted Hotel with the ghost, and then our special segment. Well, we will have 2 special segments. One will be getting to hear what Jeffrey's doing
Getting
and
to know me.
yeah,
Yes.
all that he did for Midnight Texas. And then Cherry will be introducing our new special segment where we will be talking. Cherry, can you describe it quickly?
Our new special segment is we're going to talk about the overall feeling of an episode. So tonight we're going to be talking about favorite vampires. So send in the chat your favorite vampires, everybody.
And across any sort of pop culture.
TV, cartoon, movies. If they bite, we want to hear it.
Okay, what was your guys' overall impression of this episode?
I was into this one. I really, really liked it. And then seeing the development between Patience and Manfred, I want that to happen. And you can tell she's into him. Like, it's like, you know, the old girl's gone, the new one's in, and I'm excited to see what happens.
It was a great episode about relationships, not just good relationships, but bad relationships. And I was surprised our favorite vampire couple seems to be on the path of having the best relationship in Midnight Texas right now.
Maybe.
Yeah, I loved this episode. There was as I was kind of doing an outline for what we were going to talk about, I'm like, there was so much that happened in every single respect of it and a lot of drama. And we had 2 separate storylines going on as opposed to just one, which we've seen in some other episodes. So I really liked that. And we have things brewing. It was a great setup episode as well. So let's just talk about the Midnighters. They're kind of re-getting into things after the whole possession demon thing with Manfred and Kai being this new guy in, and we still have Olivia especially is very skeptical of him. What do you guys think about Kai at this point?
I definitely think there's reason to be suspicious, and I like that Olivia is going to be your girl that's like, don't get comfortable, there's something up, and then that's leading to Manfred wanting to investigate too. So yeah, I don't trust him at all.
Anybody that has a head hidden behind a painting, I have issues with.
Red flag there.
Maybe you're being a little judgy, but I'm gonna keep my poker face on because I kind of know what's going on. But yeah.
We're gonna trick you.
Yeah,
No, you won't.
we
You'll
need
get
to
no
know.
You'll get no secrets out of me. I do want to say that this was a great episode. Bren Malone wrote the episode, and Tim Andrews directed it, and this was just a fun season to work on. But you all got what we were trying to do, which is, kind of get all the couples, that have these great relationships started and kind of start turning the screws a little bit.
Love won't win.
You know what? Love's a biatch. I'm not saying I'm bitter. I'm a little bitter. But on TV, love can't come without some pain.
Yeah.
So.
And I love how it's so individual. It's the problems in each relationship make sense for each character, like with Lem and Olivia. So let's break that down right now. They have now this psychic connection where Lem can hear and feel everything she's feeling, and the only way to stop that is her becoming a vampire. I want her to become a vampire, but obviously I'm all about consent. So.
You know what? She's put her foot down that she doesn't want to be a vampire. So
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting too with their second connection. It started off with being a fun thing, and she was excited. He knew what she wanted, and now you see how quickly she's like, "Okay, get out of my head. I don't like this." And she's been this strong female character who wants to be in charge of what she does. She doesn't need a protector at all, and so I think she's getting annoyed now that feels like she's damsel in distress. She's trying to set him straight and let him know that that is not her.
They have a May-December relationship. When you really think about it, when he was human, it was traditional for the man to take charge. And Olivia, with the baggage that she has with her family, is so independent. It's hard for her to maintain a relationship. And I think this is just the growing pains of trying to figure out how each of them can be individuals, but still become a solid couple with such different personalities. And of course, one being a vampire.
And you can tell she's conscious of making, even in the beginning of the episode, she was like, okay, we're married now, and this is what happens. So she's trying, but that's just so clearly not her. She's struggling with that.
Yeah, they're definitely like yin and yang, and you could see the problems because she's so fierce and she can handle herself, but I do feel for Lem it's a lose-lose situation. He really explained it well. He's like, I literally can't do anything about it. I have to act on it because it's like it's happening to himself.
Yeah, and that's the big issue in their relationship now is he can't turn it off, and she is a very strong independent woman and will always be that. And sometimes, if somebody's that close to you and they know everything, or they want to protect you so much, they end up smothering you, or they end up messing up some of your jobs, or they get in the way of stuff. And it's going to cause some problems. And
as a fan, I feel like we're rooting for them. We want them to be that strong power couple. And then in the episode where she acknowledges that she doesn't know where to go from the point that they're at, I'm just like, what do you mean? What do you mean you don't know? You have to figure it out. So I hope that they do. What do you think's going to happen, Jeffrey?
You know what? It's with a show like this, it's funny. You want to stay true to the characters. You want to create some drama, but also because all the writers and Eric Charmello and Nicole Snyder, who are the showrunners this season, and Monica Breen, who developed the show last season, they developed such a rich world. But Eric and Nicole this season, they've worked in genre stuff. They worked on Supernatural, which is one of my favorite shows. And we kind of all, since we love the genre, know what people think is going to happen. So a lot of times it's fun to kind of say, okay, well, everybody thinks we're going to go this way, so let's go that way. But they may think that we're going to do that, so maybe we'll flip it back around. So you really do have to kind of tune in to see. Well, let me just say, it does get crazy. It gets really, really, really. You think a head in a cage is crazy, you ain't seen nothing yet.
I love the opening where she's dancing, and it's like, dude, dancing is not consent. Wearing a sexy blouse is not consent.
Oh, yes.
Olivia will beat the crap out of you.
Yep.
She warned you.
The title definitely tied in with everybody's kind of storyline of this episode in a lot of ways, especially that they were such creeps. But on the other side of the Midnighters, we have Manfred, and he's really struggling with the Creek breakup. And he is, but I personally feel like Creek being gone is opening up a really great potential storyline for Manfred and for Manny, because he just moved. He's just being okay with his powers and abilities, like he said. Do you guys miss Creek, or do you think this is a good segue?
I don't want to say bye, see you later, but I feel the same with you, where I am excited to see where this new relationship could go. And I know it's Patience's got her man, but I would like to see them together. I kind of like it.
Patience is complicated.
She is.
I love it.
She's very complicated, and she has a tendency to not respect other women, which I'm not super cool. Girl power.
Well,
but
she's been with this roaming the country and the world forever with Kai. So they're just settling down roots. So she's kind of latched onto Manfred a little bit.
So Ivan on our live chat says that he actually does miss Creek, and that Manfred's been in denial. He wasn't expecting him to be in denial, but it looks like a little bit now that he's coming to the realization that if you love her, let her go.
Yeah.
So I think we're seeing him now step
And
back.
you know what else? The funny thing about it's not funny, but the thing about this show is we were off the air for a while because the network didn't renew it immediately. So when you have a show with talent like this, when their contract's up, they get snagged. So luckily, everybody on the show was so gracious to offer to come back and give some closure to their characters. And just because Creek left in the pilot doesn't mean she's gone for the whole season.
No, I don't want her to be gone. I loved Creek. We all loved Creek.
Yeah,
Yes.
But I would be excited if she came back, but I do think her leaving for any period opens up a gap of good growth with the
And
show.
that could lead to some drama. Say he does move on, she comes back, then what happens?
Yeah, you know.
And Creek left from her controlling father to her boyfriend, and she needs to grow individually as herself, just as a young woman.
Yes.
And Manfred needs to grow as well with his powers and his grandmother not being with him any longer because she was with him for a long time.
Yeah.
Totally.
But we gotta say, Michael B just wanted to throw out there that he doesn't miss Creek, and he's saying bye, Felicia. Not everyone's sad about it, so we'll see.
Some people just want Manfred to be alone.
Because they want him
Dark
for themselves.
struggles. Yeah, right.
And then lastly, we have Fiji and Bobo's. They finally have gotten to be in love and explore love, but like 4 different things this episode happened where Bobo was almost killed.
Yeah, that was fun because that was, you know, when I came on as a story editor this year, we talked, obviously Final Destination is like the thing, so we're like, you know, let's just put a little nod in there to the fans to this. So, you know, yeah, Bobo almost got Final Destination a lot. Now that he's in love, you know, so yeah, again, love can be a little dangerous, but they had some happy, you know, magic sex in the first episode.
We definitely broke that down heavily.
A lot. That was
Even, you know,
our
magic sex
You wanted
eventually.
to start again, like with this season, we wanted to kind of start with all the relationships kind of happy and everybody's like enjoying it, and then showing the flip side of that. So yeah, after the magic sex, and then the moving in together and the soulmates. You know, once it gets to soulmates, that's when shit starts like falling. I keep cursing. I don't know why. Every time I get in front of a microphone,
You're passionate.
I don't do it in real life. I don't do it at all. But you put me in front of a microphone,
Oh my-
and I start cursing. I don't know why.
This is reality TV.
Yo, I'm edgy. You know, but yeah, so we wanted to show everybody kind of at the height of their relationships, and then start kind of throwing some curveballs at them and seeing how the different couples navigate that, but keep it grounded in stuff that hopefully, you know, all of their drama is something that people can relate to on a human level, not just like a supernatural show level.
Because Fiji has some sort of mythology of their family that whenever they fall in love, the
We
person
find that out.
dies. Because I think that was in last season, and I read the first book, so.
And that
read
was
the
in
second
the season 2 trailer. So we definitely know there's some reasoning happening. We just don't know what it is yet, and I cannot wait to find it out.
You don't know what it is, and then once you think you know what it is, you don't know what it is.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm
I've
just
been
saying-
trying to even have those predictions of like, what could this mean? And I really don't know.
Yeah, you
I'm
won't.
sad about
Yeah,
it.
it'll be fun. Trust me, you'll love the journey.
And more Kitty. Kitty hasn't really been
Mr.
in the
Snuggly,
first-
he'll be around too.
Okay.
We got Zelda. We got yeah.
Watch him be the one
We got
behind
Madonna.
all of
You
it.
know, we brought everybody back. You know, everybody from season 1 that everybody loves is back.
Before we get into the Vampire and Crystal Desert Hotel plot lines, Cherry has a little announcement for us.
Well, hey, AfterBuzzers. Our network produces after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows, from dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. There's no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel. Check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did so in the comments, and we will give you a shout out thank you in the air. For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk.
Yes. We love the people who comment. They make it so fun. And in the chat, we have a few.
We do have some good stuff going on. Michael B again, he wants to know, in order for now Fiji and Bobo to be happy, she has to break the curse, right? Is that the only way they're gonna make this work?
You know, that's what, you know, obviously the next logical step would be for her to try to,
But are we logical in Midnight Texas?
her to try to break the curse is what she's going to try to do. But, you know, what if the curse can't be broken? Then,
Yeah.
You know.
We almost tricked you into
No, you
revealing
didn't.
something.
No.
He's like,
I've been around,
like, I
ladies.
know how to handle
I've
this
been
one.
around, ladies.
Well, let's talk about something that was revealed. A scam artist wannabe vampire who poisoned Lem with silver and then made him make her turn. And I was so with Olivia with this. I was like, I know it wasn't his fault, but this girl was a liability. but she made a great storyline because she came from being a dancer or a prostitute, was she?
Just a stripper, not a prostitute.
Stripper, and obviously in that arena, women are heavily abused and taken advantage of, so it was interesting to see her payback. What did we think about this storyline?
I thought this girl was, out for blood, clearly, more than one ways, but I did like to see that instead of just, having her go crazy and then dying, we saw her kind of learn a lesson in all of this. And Lem having the experience that he had, he's like, you don't want this. You don't know what you're signing yourself up for. So she got lucky that it was able to be reversed because, she could have just ruined her entire life so quickly. So.
Well, she kind of ruined her life because she murdered a bunch of people.
Yes,
I'm not sure how you're not going to go to jail after that. But when you really look at her relationships, her abusive relationship, Ricky's using her lack of self-esteem, you sort of see this rich character from my own experiences knowing women and even men who are in these relationships because they're looking for someone and they're looking for something. And the moment she saw that Lemire was a vampire, she immediately looked at that and thought, I'm going to take the best aspects of Twilight and become this powerful person. No one's going to run over me again.
Yep.
But of course, when you get power, it's quite corrupting.
Yes.
Which really defines how Lem's transition, I feel like, in growth as a character, because we know about his past, and he explains, like, every death will weigh on you forever, which just makes me love Lem even more as a character. I just feel like he's such a good guy and is complicated, and I really want him and Olivia to work out, but being a vampire does come with problems. So I love that part. And we see it leading into the Crystal Desert Hotel because the vampires are on the loose. She turns two of the other women that she works with into vampires, and they're going back to the one place that Olivia figured out she would go to, or Lem knew this, that she didn't get the job at the Crystal Desert Hotel. But at the meantime of the vampires going on, we have the two ghost relationships, and this was a really cool scene. I love seeing Manny become the characters. Do you guys like that?
I just can't help but think how funny that must have been for the crew to just see him go back and forth, and I honestly thought that was a good test to him as an actor because you're literally jumping back and forth body to body and trapped in between people fighting. Like, that's got to be kind of difficult to do, I would imagine.
That was fun, like when, because what I did as a story editor this season, I was in the room to help, break down the stories and develop the storylines for the episodes, and it was really fun. Something dropped.
It's okay. The show must go on.
It didn't happen. So that was really fun because Francois is an amazing actor, and so just
Totally.
You also want to give all the actors and actresses something to play with. That's why we kind of tried to switch their storylines up a little bit and take them in a different area than they were last year. But yeah, when we were talking about that in the rooms, we were like, oh man, Francois is going to just kill this because he gets to play a husband and wife fighting, and then he's himself. And I think he did an amazing job.
Even with the body movements and
Yes.
seeing it come out of him, it's all of those things need to happen for you to be able to visualize like what's actually happening.
Because if you don't do that part right, you could look like you just have multiple personality disorder, like a serious case of something, and it could be like almost comedy, but he was able to do it so well where he changes his face expressions. Kind of, if you guys have seen Orphan Black,
Yes.
it kind of reminds me of that type of acting where she was able to change her expressions to really inhabit the character that she was playing so quickly.
It was really good to see Manfred pick a side because he was able to see each person's point of view, and he was like, no, I'm not on your side.
Yeah.
No. I was like, yeah, you're abusive, dude.
Yeah.
And not just to be like, go women, but I'm like, yes, he picked the girl side.
And could you imagine not being able to divorce your loser, abusive husband, and even after death, you're still stuck with him? That's hell on earth.
No, really, though.
It really was. That would have been horrible.
I love that twist, though, that we see someone getting healed by Kai and then him coming to his room, and we see the woman, so we think it's her, and then it becomes deeper where she's tethered to the room, which you're right, that's hell on earth.
Yes.
Where this guy is trying to explain himself, but it's like, dude, you're an abuser. You're a murderer.
He's like, you don't get it. And it's like, those are even this is a show that's fun and it's about like monsters, but it's about relationships as well. And it's like, you know, we have these conversations, you know, before everybody went off to start writing their individual episodes about, you know, again, the abuser doesn't necessarily acknowledge that they're abusive. They've, you know, but I love you. Why wouldn't you want me to be with, or why wouldn't you want to be with me? And with Donette, we had a whole discussion. This was probably the most like heated, is not, yes, it is the right word. Our discussion on what to do with Donette, because on one hand she roofied Lem and had him turn her. And for me, just as a horror guy, like I'm just like, I wanted her to kill everybody. I wanted to walk in the strip club and I wanted there to be bodies everywhere,
Make it
covered in
messy.
blood, and her going into, you know. But when we started talking about it and about redemption, and if Khaya is going to heal somebody, it's like, well, it doesn't make sense for him to heal one of the other strippers that we don't really know. It really is Donette's story. So that was a choice where we, you know, toned down the people that she killed. You know, she I think she only really killed the strip club owner who smacked her ass
And was flirting with her friend too.
That was Ricky, that jerk.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
Did she get
I
Ricky?
know it was a good place for redemption.
Yeah, I think she got him too.
He deserved it. He was a freeloader.
What I do like about what you were saying is relating to the characters, whether they are vampires or supernatural, they all seem to have the same, you know, feelings when it comes to matters of the heart. So it's like, no matter how much power these characters have, it's almost like they're all kind of human at the end of the day with their feelings.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh man, even they can't control their feelings.
Yeah, and like when we have something like the monster of the week is patriarchy, like that also affects men too, because you know men are told that
Absolutely.
we have to be a certain way,
Yeah.
that we have to act a certain way, and that we have to behave a certain way. So, you know, we tried to examine that, you know, because Lim has always been like, I'm the protector. This is how I've acted for centuries. Why wouldn't I protect you? So, you know, men are victims of this idea of patriarchy as well. So this isn't like, you know, men are bad and, you know, oppressive. It's just, you know, there's a system kind of set up where it's like, we're all told that we have to act in a certain way to fit in. And so, you know, we try to, again, not to get too deep because this is a fun show, but, you know, we really try to look at it from all the different angles, you know.
Definitely. And on the flip side of that, I think a lot of times the whole feminist movement kind of gets misconstrued, but you have a character like Manny who's like, no, you are wrong, dude, and like maybe I am wrong with Creek. That's all it takes for women to be like, you know, you're on our side, because you just like, it's not that you're inherently and forever bad. It's like, we just need you to switch one thing, the way you think a little bit about women. That's it.
Yeah.
This episode was really neat, as well as the first episode, because I think some people watching this fantasy show will just think, oh, it's just fantasy, whatever. But seeing the relationships, I think some people might see a reflection of their relationship, whether it's negative or positive, and maybe think, maybe I should break up with this person, or maybe I shouldn't do this any longer. Maybe I shouldn't kill them in a closet and keep their soul forever. I don't know.
But before the woman gets taken back or like able to be separated from the spell that Fiji performed, she said that there are secrets behind the woods. And that kind of opened the doors to the picture. And we see the episode ends where Manfred is able to open it and see this head. Who do we think? Do we have any idea of what this could mean? Sips tea, Cherry, Haley.
I went back and replayed that because I'm like, what happened? So I really don't know, that's what I like. I think that was great from, you know, being behind the scenes standpoint to leave us so on edge of really having no idea what, we know it's not good, but I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
And is it a spell from opening it that the force was, or is there energy within the head that was able to perform that?
Well, he tried to touch it, and that's what threw him off. So as my parents used to say with our collectible dolls, touch with your eyes. So he should have touched with his cell phone camera. I thought it was interesting, just made me think, what is the relationship between Kai and Patience? Are they really married? Is it a familiar type of something? Because the way she looked at Manfred with that wet shirt, I was like, someone's not getting something on the regular. I'm not going to say what. And her
You can say it, right? It's your show.
We could. Her dismissive of my beloved Fiji's witchy powers. Girl, don't do that again.
But she did say, like, she is look, Fiji is a baddie. We know this. Like, it's hard not to acknowledge how freaking cute and awesome Fiji is. So and she's the sweetest on the show. So it would be like it's
she's my friend. She's my friend. I love her. Everybody on the show, actually everybody on the show is really nice. It's funny. It's not funny. Why do I say it's funny? Then I say it's not funny. That's my thing. But when you work on a show like this, like again, I think that speaks because of so many of the talent who'd got other shows in between seasons came back, is because there is such a sense of family. And people really, the cast and the crew really respect the fan base and love the show. And I think that reflects on all the people that work on it too. They're all so amazing. But Priest is my friend, and she's awesome.
As a viewer, for me anyways, I think I'm more interested in a show knowing that that's how the dynamic is behind the scenes. If you kind of feel like all the characters in real life don't like each other, it almost does kind of reflect in the show. Yeah. So knowing that they care so much about the fan base, knowing that they take it seriously, it makes you more on their side. You want to support them too.
But yeah, I definitely agree. And you can feel it. Like there's even though Manny is still new, you can feel a connection between everyone. The last point I wanted to bring up, to Cherry's point, was Patience and Khaya. Obviously, there's something deeper there that Patience is kind of leaning at and giving us, that Khaya isn't what we think maybe, or their relationship's not what we think. So I'm really curious to see what happens there, and with her and Manny, because I think that's just like such a good duo. Yep. But I really want to be able to get into our special segment so we can get into our very special segment of Jeffrey. So Cherry, without
today on a very special segment
you are on our very special segment. We have the very special Jeffrey.
So our special segment of the week.
Yeah.
There's no music.
There's my boy.
Why music? So, this is your favorite vampire. What makes you love him so?
It's so typical, and I feel like I'm probably getting judged out there, but I loved Twilight, and I just thought that it was a beautiful love story. And ever since then, because honestly, I'm a little bit of a wimp when it comes to scary things. I typically keep it to like rom-coms, and so this is even new for me to get invested into something that is, there's blood and there's gore, because I'm a little bit of a baby about it. But I just thought Twilight was a beautiful love story incorporating the vampires.
I loved Blade because any vampire, they'll kick other vampires' ass. And of course, it's Wesley.
Yes.
Wesley is king of it all, forever.
Wesley is the first Marvel African-American superhero comic book guy. And then Spawn. Yeah, everybody thinks Black Panther, but they forget about Blade and Spawn.
Yeah.
Sleeping on...
That was New Line Cinema. I used to work. Yeah. They did Final Destination and Nightmare on Elm Street, so they were very... ahead of their time.
They were.
Also, just Anthony here in the booth, and I just love horror films. And since you mentioned,
I was like, are you just talking to us, or can they hear him too?
Hello, Jeffrey. Yes, everyone can hear me.
Should I just act like I'm not hearing voices?
I just gotta say, Blade is one of my favorites, and I recently saw it, and it still holds. Yes, the test of time.
So good.
Even the CGI is so amazing on that. And I just want to say, Blade is, my God, what a film.
Yeah.
Best vampire. That scene where he has that metal thing and he just and the catches. I'm like, you're so cool.
Sherry, can you help me out with some of their favorites? Because I know I'm gonna insult someone out there when I don't know.
What's your favorite?
I love Twilight, but I love Buffy the Vampire. I know that it's on the flip side of it, but we don't have that much time, and I want to be able to talk about Jeffrey.
Jerry Dandridge, Fright Night.
Fright Night, the original, was awesome.
So Jeffrey is the story editor of Midnight Texas, and he created Final Destination. Can you tell us a little bit about what goes into being a story editor and what you've done with Midnight Texas?
Yeah, basically you go in and you take credit for everything, and pretend all the ideas are yours, and you really wrote all the episodes. What I did is I just came in and helped really develop the storylines for this season, and again, I have been friends with Eric Charmella and his writing partner Nicole for a long time. I love them to death, and they called me up and just said, "Hey, would you be interested in working on Midnight Texas?" And I was like, "Let me play hard to get for a second." "Oh, you just heard me say that, didn't you, Eric? I'll be there, of course."
My planner, yes.
Because I had fallen in love with the show the prior season as well. So, I just really came in and we, developed the storylines and broke them kind of down into every episode, and then broke the episodes down into acts, and then sent the writers off to work on the scripts after that. So
that's so awesome.
Cool.
Cherry?
And of course, for those who may not know, like we were saying, you started Final Destination, but how did you get Final Destination? The story of how you got into the horror field is very cool.
Oh, well, that's why I had them play Loretta Lynn Coal Miner's daughter. Because when I was a 14-year-old hillbilly in eastern Kentucky, and I say that with pride, I saw the first Nightmare on Elm Street and fell in love with the movie. And so I wrote a prequel idea, and I sent it to Bob Shea, who was the president of New Line Cinema. And he sent it back because it was unsolicited, and I had to look that up because I didn't know what that meant. And then I wrote him back, and I was like, look, mister, I've seen 3 of your movies, and I've spent $2 on your stuff, so I think you can take 5 minutes to read my story. So he read my story and got back in touch with me, and his assistant, Joy Mann, who's no longer with us, unfortunately, they stayed in touch with me from age 14 to 19 and sent me scripts and sent me tchotchkes and told me what tchotchkes meant. I learned all kinds of stuff. It was amazing. And when I was 19, I went to New York to study theater, and I got an internship at New Line Cinema and ended up working there for 11 years, and they made Final Destination. So it was kind of a long trek. It was a long trek, but it was interesting because, you're like, wow, I wish I had those 14-year-old brass balls,
I love that you started so young because that was your passion and nothing could hold you back as a kid, and you went for it. I don't think as a 14-year-old I probably would have been like, look, mister, you need to read my story. And
the funny thing is I wanted to be an actor. I was like, I'm going to be the first biracial guy in Teen Beat, the first centerfold. That didn't happen. But yeah, I knew from a very young age that I wanted to work in film and television, and in front of the camera. Then it kind of non-traditional casting when I was, or in the early 90s, was not a thing. It was like in New York, my agent told me I was an ethnic Michael J. Fox type, and said, since you don't rap or play basketball, I don't know what to do with you.
Oh.
So she's like, maybe I can get you on the Cosby Show, and then they canceled the Cosby Show, and then I was like, well, there goes my acting career. So I started writing full time, but yeah, I've always wanted to be in the entertainment industry. I love movies and film, and I love horror. Like, I've just been obsessed with it since I was a child.
What about horror? I'm always curious because I do like some scary movies, but I am a scaredy cat like Haley. And I'm always curious, like, people who love horror are like Anthony, like the nicest people ever.
No, we are.
What about it drew you in?
Yeah, first of all, people always say that. They meet the horror writers and directors, they're like, you guys are so nice. And I'm like, yeah, it's the romantic comedy writers that are messed up. But I know when I was young, like, me and my best friends, Calvin and Tony and Jason, we used to watch horror movies all the time. And it was all about watching, like, bloody, scary stuff because people were like, how can you watch? It was almost like doing something forbidden. But we also got Fangoria magazine so we could see how they did the special effects. And we knew it wasn't real. So then it became entertaining. And then you start trying to create ways to, like, kill people on screen that you haven't seen before. And it's just such a fun genre. And the fans are amazing. And the community is really, really tight. And it's also one of those genres that's always been profitable, but it's always been kind of looked down on. It doesn't matter how big of a hit it is. Somebody will be like, oh, this isn't a horror movie. It's a supernatural thriller. I'm like, screw you. It's a horror movie. And it makes the most money. It makes more money, when you look at their budgets to how much they make, it makes more money than any other genre of film. And it's just one of those things that's never really been respected. So I think most horror geeks who grow up to be filmmakers in the genre were kind of geeks when they were in high school and college and stuff like that. And so we're just kind of nice, cool people.
I feel like the horror industry is really competitive, even more so than, I don't know, even like rom-com, because you see a lot of horror movies kind of doing similar themes. So I feel like separating yourself to make it an interesting storyline, to make it still scary, because it's either, not scary enough or too scary. You have to find that happy medium. I think that Midnight Texas does a really good job with that. Yeah.
It's a fun show. It's got scares and creepy stuff going on in it, but it's fun. I mean, that's kind of horror that I like, is entertain. Again, like, I hate real life violence. People dying really disturbs me, but just
what? I love hearing you say this. It's like the most complex humans on earth are horror creators. I love it.
Yes, we're the most complex on earth.
And because you are so nice, it's almost the fact that it's so opposite from you that
I love it.
See, that's why it's so appealing. 'Cause it's just so not your everyday reality.
Yeah, I've got out a lot of my demons on paper.
That's probably where they should stay.
That's so
It's a safe
smart.
space for 'em.
Yeah.
I was hoping if I could ask Jeffrey a question.
Yes.
Of course, voice in my head. I'm not going
Anthony's
crazy.
our engineer, you guys.
Yes,
He's the
hello.
best.
Thank you, Anthony. Of course.
Yeah, I just want to know. So you mentioned you did love A Nightmare on Elm Street, right?
Yeah.
I'm guessing would that be your favorite horror film?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So that's established. I just wanted to know. So yeah, I'm guessing also you have seen a lot of horror films this year.
Yes.
What has been your favorite horror film this year? And I'll share mine. Mine personally was Hereditary. So, what was yours?
Oh man, you put me on the spot here. I'll get back to you on that. It's interesting. No, I liked Hereditary. Hereditary really disturbed me, but I haven't watched it again. It just really disturbed me. It was good. It was really good. It just really disturbed me.
Yeah, it depressed me for like 3 days.
Yeah,
straight.
like it was like a week-long thing where it's like, yeah.
Whoa.
I
but
didn't
it's
see
a hit.
it
But I
because I
loved
heard
it
that.
so
I'm with
much.
you though. I think if it takes it too far, then I pull
But it
back.
doesn't
'cause
even take
becomes
it
like,
far. It's just a really heavy movie, and it's a really unrelenting movie.
Anthony.
I'm trying to think of what my favorite is.
How do you feel about American Horror Story type stuff?
Stumble. No, you know, I watch every horror show on the air. My thing with American Horror Story is I always feel like it starts off strong and then goes off the rails. Like they just throw everything but the kitchen sink at you. But for some reason this season I thought it started off the rails, but is getting better every season or every episode. So it's an interesting show. Like I still keep watching it, but you know I mean Supernatural is one of my favorites. You know, I love the new Titan series on the DC universe. It's very comic books are like my second favorite love, and it's very dark, but very character driven as well. And yeah, I mean, I just watch every horror. I mean, I used to watch Sleepy Hollow and Grimm when they were on, and you know, yeah, there's just so much good stuff.
But you have some upcoming projects.
Yes.
Yeah, I just had a project that premiered at Screamfest, which I'm really excited about, called The Final Wish. It was originally called The Seventh Wish, but apparently having final in the title, I don't know, would maybe connect the movie with another movie that I did with final. No, but I joke, but it actually works with the story. But it has Lynn Shay, who's one of my favorite actresses of all time. Tony Todd's in it, which is our first time working together since Final Destination. He's just amazing actor. Michael Welch, who was in Twilight, he played the human that liked Bella, and he was in my much beloved Day of the Dead remake. I say that laughingly because half the people that saw that movie are like, I hate that movie. So you have to own the ones that people hate as well. But Michael is an amazing actor. It's a really fun movie, and it's just about a young man whose father passes away, and he comes home to take care of his mother, played by Lynn Shay, and his father's an antique dealer, and he uncovers this antique item that has something evil tethered to it that starts granting his wishes. Ooh. So I'm very excited about that. And there's a project called Superstition that's based on the superstitions that does happen in threes. And it's set on a call. I'm like pitching now.
I love
elevator
it.
pitch.
We're gonna keep it going.
And it's set on a campus where 2 people have died. So somebody sets up a dead pool to figure out who the third person is to die. And all the kids on campus start entering it, and somebody dies, and our lead character ends up winning the dead pool, and then her friends start getting knocked off. And so it's my first slasher film, which I'm excited about. And it's also a film where 95% of the cast is African American and Latino and Asian. Wow. Like it's and that's just been something I've been trying to do for a long time, is just, have more diversity in my films. And the way I kind of talk to people about this is like, this movie is like a really great like Halloween or Scream kind of movie, but instead of focusing on all the pretty white people over here with their one brown friend, we just move the camera over here and focus on all the pretty brown people and their 1 or 2 white friends. So it's not about race; it's just about showing people that we don't normally get to see headlining these movies. I don't know why I'm looking at Cherry while I'm talking about this.
No, that's amazing.
I'm like
Especially
looking at you.
I'm looking at you too.
in all genres. Yeah, in all genres we need more representation, but I would say especially horror and type slasher films, because we know how it usually goes. The one black character gets killed first.
Yeah.
Like we need some more people of color definitely on screen.
Yes, definitely.
And then Good Samaritans is the other one that I'm really excited about. And I did a short on this, but it's about a group of people who see somebody getting assaulted in a park and they don't help, and somebody videotapes the witnesses watching and puts it out on the internet. So the victim dies and somebody starts going after the witnesses, and our lead character isn't sure if it's something supernatural after them or if it's a killer. So the whole movie, you're kind of like, is she going crazy? Is there just a killer after them?
Wow.
So
is it
good.
yeah, so
Yes.
it's really cool. I'm excited about
Wow.
See,
that
that's a
too.
new type of concept too. I haven't heard
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we do have to wrap, but Jeffrey, you are so freaking fun that you've made this such a great conversation, and I can't wait to see your works coming up because I feel like this is a scary thing I will dive into. Haley will too.
Yeah.
Well, watch that, but also you guys again are going to really love the rest of the season of Midnight Texas too. It does really get a lot crazier and a lot more fun. And
I can't. You can already see it. I feel like season 1 was great, but season 2 is like gonna set the show on fire.
Yes.
I
I'm
can't
hooked.
wait. But until next time, where can the viewers and everyone find you on the internet?
my address. On the internet. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Jeffrey A. Reddick. So that's probably the best place to find me.
Awesome, Haley,
I'm at HeyJ, HAYJ_.
Cherry.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter, cherry_LA, Supernatural on Thursdays, and The Wookiee on Tuesdays.
Awesome. And I'm Steph Sabra. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Steph Sabra. Thank you guys so much
Thank
for
you
tuning
for having
in.
me.
Thank you for coming in
Thank you.
again. We'll see you guys next Sunday for episode 3.
Thank you.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and
Great
me,
show,
Maria
everybody.
Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
From executive producers Maria
Views expressed
Menounos.
herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.